Hello, I'm RR, and welcome to Soliloquize, a podcast series by Trouvaille, Eunoia. A few days ago, I had posted a simple poll on YouTube and late. The question was, what do you think is the most underrated skill today? The responses were fascinating. People shared their thoughts. Some chose creativity. Others believed it was critical thinking or communication. But when the results came in, honestly, they surprised me. The option that received the fewest votes was the ability to ask questions. At first, I found that surprising, but the more I thought about, the more it began to make sense. From classrooms to boardrooms, we've spent years learning how to answer. We've been prepared for examinations, interviews, presentations, performance reviews, and that is, we've always learned how to respond. But did we spend enough time learning how to ask? And perhaps the real question is, have we become so focused on finding answers that we've forgotten how to ask better questions? That single thought became the inspiration for today's episode. So let's begin this journey with a question. If artificial intelligence can answer almost anything, what becomes the most valuable human skill? For most of human history, information was power. Knowledge was difficult to access. Books were limited. Experts were few. Finding the right answer often required years of learning, experience, and patience. But today, everything has changed. Within seconds, artificial intelligence can explain on complex concepts, summarize research papers, write codes, create presentations, generate images, and answer questions from almost any field imaginable. Information is everywhere. The value has shifted. We are moving from an economy of answers to an economy of questions. Imagine you're standing inside the world's greatest library. Does access to knowledge automatically make you intelligent? Not necessarily, isn't it? Because access to answers has never been the real challenge. Knowing what to ask has always been where intelligence begins. Today, answers are abundant, but questions are becoming rare. And that's exactly why they matter more than ever. Because answers tell us what is known, while questions decide what becomes possible. Let's think about AI for a moment. Suppose you ask AI, write me a speech. It will. You'll probably receive a well written speech, but it will mostly be generic. Now imagine asking instead, well, you write speech that inspires first generation college students to pursue careers in technology using relatable stories from everyday Indian life. Suddenly, everything changes. The response becomes richer, more meaningful, more relevant. Did AI suddenly become smarter? It's not so. Your thinking has become clearer. Your questions have become sharper. The intelligence we were searching for was never in the two. It was indeed the thinking behind the question. This isn't a story about AI. It's about something far more fundamental. A doctor doesn't begin with medicine. They begin by understanding the patient. A scientist doesn't begin with discoveries. They begin with curiosity. A detective doesn't begin with answers. They begin with questions. And that's because every great breakthrough begins or always began with a better question. As children, asking why, how, what if came naturally. Somewhere along the way, many of us stopped asking. We learned how to remember, but had forgotten how to wonder. Here's something I strongly believe: AI only amplifies human thinking. If your thinking is vague, AI becomes vague. If your thinking is precise, AI becomes powerful. Technology is useful as the thinking that guides it, and the future may be shaped by the people who think the best. History has never been changed by people who accepted the world exactly as it was. It was changed by people who refused to stop asking why, not, what if. Every invention, every moment, every scientific breakthrough, every meaningful change began with a question that sounded unreasonable. Maybe that's the defining skill of our era: not memorizing more, not collecting more information, not simply becoming better at using technology, but developing the courage to question assumptions, to challenge what everyone else accepts, and to notice what others overlook. Because one good question can change a conversation, a better question can redefine a career, and one courageous question can change the world. Before we end today's conversation, I'd like to leave you with one final invitation to think differently. What is the one question you've never asked simply because you assumed you already knew the answer? Take a moment, sit with it, reflect on it, because the future won't belong to those who simply collect answers. It will belong to those who ask better questions. So today, don't look for another answer, look for a better question, because questions don't just find answers, they shape the future. I'm Ara, and this is Soliloquize. Season 1, The Thinking Lab. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning.